Hello, welcome back for another verse, one verse a week. This week's parsha is Parshat Vayishlach. That can be found in your Bibles or in your Chumashim, from Genesis 32:4 to 36, verse 43. This is for the Jewish year, the reading cycle corresponding to the Jewish year 5779. If you are finding these videos to be useful, I wish you would consider subscribing to this channel. Also, if you find them worthy of your support, I wish you would consider either becoming a Patreon or making a small contribution via PayPal. You can find that information in the description below. Okay, let us begin. Okay, we will start. The verse we'll be doing is Genesis 32:4. In non-Jewish Bibles, this is verse 3, and this has to do with the way in which the chapter, the verses are off a little bit in this chapter because the verse 1 in the Hebrew text is actually, in most Bibles, actually is attached to chapter 31. So that would put all of 32 behind by, all of chapter 32 behind by one chapter. Okay, so this verse is not a hard verse. It's a fairly easy verse. Let's go ahead and read it. Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav el Esav achiv arza seir sedei Edom. Okay, one more time. Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav el Esav achiv arza seir sedei Edom. Okay, so let's go ahead and touch on some of the vocabulary. The way we're doing this, I am assuming that you don't have too much knowledge as of yet as to how to conjugate verbs, so we're going with the non-verbs first, and then we will deal with the verbs later. Could be, if you already understand all of the conjugations, could be this series, you're too advanced for this series. I will be producing a more complete series of videos explaining Hebrew grammar, possibly producing a textbook or something like that. Okay, so let's go. So Yaakov is Jacob, and Esav is Esau, or as we call him, Esav. So these are two characters here. So not worrying about this verb, Yaakov malachim. So malachim comes from the word malach, which either means a messenger or an angel. Malach, malachim. The yud mem ending signifies plurality, masculine plurality. So malachim is a masculine plural of malach. Okay, so Yaakov malachim lifanav. So the word lifanai means before or in front of. It comes from the word panai, or panim, meaning face. La, 2 or 4, which taken all together means before or in front of. Which of course your face is either before you or in front of you. So what is in your face is before you or in front of you. Okay, lifanai. Now lifanav, with the vav here, that is again the pronoun possessive. Pronoun ending is a possessive ending. This corresponds to the pronoun who, which of course is he. So lefanav would mean before him, in front of him. El, we learned earlier in a previous video, is a preposition. It means to. El Esav, to Esav. And then who's Esav? Achiv. The word ach means brother. ach. And then, of course, the vav, again, this is possessive, achiv, his brother. Ach, achiv. Ach, brother, achiv, his brother. Okay, arza comes from the word eretz. It's eretz with a directional hey. Arza. Arza. Directional hey, to the land of Seir. Seir is a place. Sadeh Edom. Sadeh means field. So Sadeh Edom, this is a case of biblical parallelism in which we have two phrases that describe the same thing, that are in parallel of each other. Arza Seir, which is Sadeh Edom. Of course, we don't say which is. That's just understood. Arza Seir, Sadeh Edom. This is the same place, to the same general place. These two phrases are parallel to each other, referring to the same location, which of course is where Esav is. Okay, so again, malachim is the plural of malach. It can be translated as messengers or angels. Lefanai comes from the word panai or panim, meaning face. Lefanai means before, or in front of, because of course your face is in front of you. Lefanav, his face, before him. Ach, brother, ach, and of course we have the same ending. Vav. So ach, achiv would be his brother. Arza is eretz with a directional hey. We've seen the directional hey pop up throughout the Torah. It's pretty common. It's a little less common later on in the Tanakh, in the Hebrew Bible, but in the Torah it's pretty common. Seir, the land of Seir. Sadeh Edom, the field of Edom. Okay, so let's look at that verb. What is that verb? It comes from the root shalach. So this is Vayishlach. Shalach, meaning to send. Okay, so I've already told you before that a prefix on front of a pronoun prefix on the front end of the verb, we would normally translate in the future tense. Even though Biblical Hebrew is not a properly tensile language, nevertheless, it just works out. It's more easy in English to try to make tenses out of it. So if we have a prefix, the yud, that means he. Okay, he. Yishlach literally translates as he will. Future tense. He will. If there's a suffix, then that's usually translated in the past tense. This has got a prefix. Yishlach, he will. However, we have the vav reversive. This is the rule that makes every Hebrew students want to pull their hair out. The vav reversive, adding this one letter, flips the tense. So Yishlach, he will send. Vayishlach, and he sent. So taken all together, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim, and Yaakov sent malachim, messengers or angels, lefanav, before him, to Esav, Achiv, his brother. Where's that? Arza Seir, toward or to the land of Seir. Again, at that directional hey. To the land of Seir. Sadeh Edom. In parallel, Arza Seir, Sadeh Edom, the land, which is the field of Edom. Okay, so let's look at my translation. And Yaakov sent messengers ahead of him to Esav, his brother, toward the land of Seir, the field of Edom. Okay, that is my translation. So let's see how that stacks up with other translations. KJV. And Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Okay, So they have the thes here. We don't. Okay, maybe not. There's no the in the Hebrew text, so we can say it a little bit differently. Let's see how I said it. Yeah, I guess I said it the same way. Okay. NIV. Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Okay, so I don't like this in the land, because that's not really said here. What's in the land referred to? Is that where Esav is? Is that where he sent them? So in the original text, again, El Esav Achiv, he sent to Esav Achiv, Arza Seir, to the land of Seir, Sedei Edom, the field of Edom. So really it should be two. So unto or to would be a more proper translation. In the land of Seir, we don't know what's in the land of Seir. Is that where he sent them? Is that where Esau is? The in is not in the text. In RSV, Jacob sent messengers before him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. Okay. You see the same, more or less. It's not big differences here. JPS, Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau. So ahead, I don't really like that translation here. In the land of Seir, again, we have that in the land. Rather, it's to the land of Seir, the country or the field of Edom. So, and fairly small quibbles with all the translations thus far. Stoned art scroll. Then Jacob sent angels ahead of him to Esau, his brother, to the land of Seir, the field of Edom. Okay, so obviously my biggest quibble is going to be with angels. So now note that that word, malachim, does have that double meaning, angels or messengers. In fact, one could say that angels really is not a good translation of the word malachim, because after all, angels are just messengers of God, and therefore, really, it always means messengers, and we have to know who they're messengers of, whether they're messengers of God or they're messengers of man. So really, that's probably the better way of thinking about it. But we, us, Anglos, our English users, we have to make it a little bit easier, so we go with angels. Okay. Anyway, is that what's being referred to in this text? So certainly, there's Jewish literature wants to take this as some Jewish literature, not all of it. Some rabbis, like Rashi, for example, seem to want to take this text to mean angels. But other rabbis say not. So we have a split of opinions on this matter in the text. And they have their own reasons why they want to say angels. We're not going to get into that. This is not about that per se. This is more about the translation. But nevertheless, amongst the rabbis, amongst various commentaries, there is a split on what exactly this term means: messengers or angels. So this is probably my biggest beef with the Art Scroll products. Is that, to my mind, what they should have done is they should have taken the most conservative path possible in translating this, and they should have said messengers, and then they should have footnoted to the fact that Rashi and other commentators say this is that he sent angels, and that would be, I think, more reasonable than making the sort of the boldest translation, angels, and then what they do is they footnote and they explain how Rashi and other commentators say angels. And then they also say there are those commentators that say that this means messengers. So in a way, this is an attempt by them to sort of grab your attention when you're reading, because you go through it and you say, hey, what's going on here? And it's a way to help you to grapple with the text, with the dual meaning of the term malachim. It's a way of trying to introduce you to some of the issues in translating, and also to introduce you to some of the names involved in Jewish in the world of Jewish commentaries. However, I'm just not really sure that a translation of the Bible really should be doing all those things. So I would have translated it as messengers, and then I would have footnoted to this. But certainly all this stuff is well and good in footnotes. And certainly Rashi has reasons why he says this is angels, as do the other commentators. And of course the other commentators that don't agree with that opinion have reasons why they are a little more conservative with their translation as messengers. Okay. So anyway, that's that. Short class this time around. Relatively easy verse. I just wanted to make this point. Okay, so we'll see you next time. Kol Tuv, Hatzlacha Rava. Keep learning.